You might still think you're blowing your accounts as a day trader because you don't have a good strategy. But the only reason that you would be blowing accounts as an experienced trader with knowledge, the knowledge is getting blocked and you can't use what you know. You know too much, you're already advanced, you already know what to do. You don't need a new strategy or new indicators. What you actually need is to stop allowing the knowledge you have getting blocked. You need to stop the knowledge you have from getting blocked. And I'm going to tell you the only thing that can block knowledge. It is called emotion. Now, you might think, well, emotion is kind of inevitable. You can't really get rid of emotion, right? That's the point of this video. If you can't get rid of emotion, then how do you stop emotion from blocking your knowledge? And how you do it is the 5 P's of trading. There is purpose, potential triggers, protection, push, and post. Those are the 5 P's of actually becoming a profitable scalper trader. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the first one, which is called purpose. If you do not have a real purpose for trading, you'll never make money. And this is one of the biggest things I've seen with my students over and over and over that I teach, but also with myself. This is something that I had to encounter many eons ago, and I see it come up in the same traders over and over. Because you're not dumb, you're not stupid, you don't need a new strategy, you already know how to trade, you've already made profitable trades, you've already made a streak of profitable wins, you've already built confidence. It's just that you have no real purpose. You don't actually know your purpose for trading. Now, when I ask you, why do you get into a trade? You might say, well, there was a pullback, or there was a breakout, or there was a move that I thought was good. Oh, it looked like it was going to move up some money. All of that is very ambiguous. It is very vague. It doesn't actually give you a true, real reason where you can binarily say, I'm getting in because of this, I'm getting out because of that. That's what a real purpose is. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the first P of trading, purpose. And right now, you get into trades. The reason, right? Purpose is your reason for getting into a trade. If your reason for getting into a trade is because you see a pullback, you see a breakout, you see whatever you see, that is a subjective reason for entering. But what if I asked you, what is your real reason for getting in? You don't have an answer. And the reason why is because there's only 2 reasons for getting into a trade as a day trader. Number 1, price movement. If you think stock A is gonna go, if you think that stock A is gonna go up $5 over the next 2 days, that is called a price movement purpose. Your reason for getting in is because you think that a different ticker, or whatever your ticker of choice is going to move a certain amount of dollars. That is for our traders who are intraday, who hold trades a few hours to overnight. Okay, those are intraday traders. Now, intraday technically is still buying and selling same day, but you might buy late afternoon and sell in the morning, still not even holding for 24 hours. I don't consider that a swing. That's still considered intraday trading overnight. So that could be you. But guess what? There's another reason. Again, there's only 2. The other reason is for my scalpers, which is what I am. I'm a volatility scalp trader, okay? It is called, I think I gave you the answer already. It's called volatility. If you're entering a trade for any other reason besides a price movement change or a volatility move, you don't have a purpose for trading. You actually just have a subjective confirmation, or you might have some confirmative information that may lead you to indicate you to think that something might happen, but it's actually not a real reason. Now, the reason why it is so important to have a purpose for your trades is because your purpose informs your exit and your entry. You might be blowing accounts because you can't cut trades, but you can't cut trades because you don't know when to get out, and you don't know when to get out because you never defined your purpose. You're exiting a breakout on vibes. And then when the price either hits this $2 looks like it's not gonna reach that $2, or simply turns around and doesn't do what you want, you get out. Now your exit is fully informed without emotion. You know, I'm entering for price movement. I exit when this is either complete or invalidated. Done. Period. It doesn't matter if you're entering this you're entering this $5 move because it's going to break out of a trend, or if it's going to be a reversal or a continuation, or if it's going to be a retracement, or it's going to be whatever it's going to be. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a cup and handle. It doesn't matter if it's going to be double bottom or double top. It doesn't matter. Those are setups. Those are not reasons for getting into a trade. This is one of the only reasons. Okay, so I'm not an intraday trader, but I do trade. I have traded intraday, so I can speak about it. But what I really love is volatility, because in options, we get this thing called leverage, because one contract is worth 100 shares. So if you trade based off volatility, which is a short-term trade, then you actually have I think it's easier purpose than having this. Not only do you have to have a thesis for your direction, you also have to exit in the wrong a lot of the times because of time horizon. Okay, so your intraday traders are trading longer than your scalpers. Obviously, scalpers are holding for seconds to minutes, and your intraday traders are holding for hours to less than 24 hours. Okay, so what actually happens is that it's easier to tell where you're about to be in the next coming seconds than it is to tell where you're going to be within the next 24 hours. If I asked you a question and said, hey, do you know where you're going to be in the next 30 seconds? Well, I'd be sitting in this chair filming this video with this in my hand. Probably. Right? We can almost 9 times out of 10, that's probably what I'm going to be doing. But if I say, okay, what am I going to be doing in 24 hours? Well, I would have to build a thesis based on what I normally do in my day. What time would it be in 24 hours? Oh, it would be Monday. Okay, well, what am I going to be doing on Monday at this time? Okay, and you have to build a thesis, and you still might be wrong at the end of the day. So it's easier to assume or make a move based on where you're going to be sooner than later. That's why I prefer volatility scalping. However, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is you need to have a real purpose. Going forward, get rid of the setup talk. I'm getting in because it's a breakout. I'm getting in because it's a double top, a double bottom. It's a reversal. It's a cup and handle. It's a blah, 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 blah. Those are not reasons for getting in. There's only 2 real purposes for being in a trade. That is having either a price movement you think is going to happen or volatility. Because at the end of the day, the reason you make money is because price moved from point A to point B. In scalping, it moves like a quicker move, and in swinging, it's moving a bigger move over a longer period of time. That's it. So if you have not decided your real purpose, you need to right now. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is I want you to sit down and review your last 3 trades and ask yourself, why did I get into this trade? Did I get into this trade because it was breaking some sort of structure? Or did I actually get into this trade because of a real move that I saw? Because it was actually going to move a certain price. And this takes something called technical analysis, which is not predicting the market. It is anticipating what might happen and only taking that play when it's confirmed in your direction. And so if you're just out in the world thinking about trading and you really aren't making money right now, or you're blowing your accounts, might be because of the first P of trading, which is purpose. You might be blowing your accounts because you can't exit a trade. And you can't exit a trade because you never entered for a proper reason. If you can't enter for the proper reason, it's because you have no real purpose. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say is that you have to have your entry and exit be the same purpose. They are opposites of each other. So let's say price movement, a $5 price movement. If price is still going at this, still moving to do this $5 move, I'm entering. Once that is complete or invalidated, I exit. Okay, this has made me so much money. Same thing with scalping. I'm going to enter when I see volatility, market structure, candlestick patterns, candlestick strength, anything having to do with price, fundamental analysis, which is news, company evaluations, dividends, etc., are all indicators. They are not confirmations. Everything is an indicator to a scalper. Nothing is a confirmation. So because everything is an indicator, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to use all these indicators I have to indicate when I think volatility is going to occur. I'm going to enter, and then when volatility is over, within the next few seconds or minutes, I exit. That cut and clean will make you so much more money as a day trader if you follow this first P of purpose. Ask your questions down below. I'm going to keep making videos on the 5 P's of trading, because this is really where all the money resides. All the money resides in these 5 P's, and I'm going to keep making videos on it. So I'll see you guys in the next video, or comment which one you are. But luckily, I wrote an entire book on the 5 P's, and I give you everything you need to become a profitable scalping volatility trader. And I also give you all the frameworks I use on a day-to-day basis in my actual trading that keeps me consistent.